We're doing a little bit of maintenance day on the Jeep today. A couple issues were water going in the top cowl here wasn't draining out and it was dumping onto the passenger floor. And I had these ditch light brackets I put on at home that finally, now that this is off, the wires can be run underneath, so it's a perfect time to knock that out too. Get those ditch lights installed. Thirdly, we haven't had heat or any kind of airflow going to anything but the dash vents. And I discovered that this bottom actuator was broken off, so it wasn't actually pulling back and forth. There's some plastic tabs that are part of the heater box that are broken off, so gonna have to find some glue to try and glue that up and get that working again. Not sure I'll get that done today, but we'll get this front part knocked out. Also, we're getting a little bit of uneven tire wear, typical mud tire stuff probably, but I'm gonna double check the toe, make sure that's straight, rotate the tires front to back, and I think that'll be it for the Jeep. All right, so we got that back together. Just poked the hole in the bottom to unplug it so the water can drain, clean things out in there. We got our driving lights bolted on, and we just took a little bit of rubber trim off the corner and snuck the wires in behind the panel. And we got our light wires run inside here. Now we just got to hook up the lights to power and so on, and we'll have driving lights. All right, so we got the wires run out through a grommet behind the motor there for the driving lights, and across relays mounted over by the battery, and we hooked up power and ground. And then I also removed a wire from the harness and hooked them into a high beam trigger. These are pretty simple wiring on the Jeep here. None of this computer CAN bus stuff, so I was able just to get my signal for the high beam. I don't have a loom for that, but that's good enough for now. And that's my trigger. So I got a high beam trigger, so they turn off when I turn off my high beams. And now we just got to aim our lights. They have red covers, kind of fancy. I don't know if these are driving lights or spotlights or floodlights. They came with a bumper that we bought for Mary Ann's Jeep several years back and never used. So, and here's my switch. I still got to run that up and mount it somewhere. And I'll still have this all apart to try and glue up this heater actuator once I get some glue. So the front tires are wearing a little funny. The toe does need to be set a bit. We haven't had any luck getting the tie rod adjuster to turn. We can't find a channel or a pipe wrench that I think we would need to grab it with. We don't have any of the special tools to grab into the slot, and are using a channel locks won't do it, too tight. We've beat on it and stuff, so we're gonna do a tire rotation. We've got the ditch lights all mounted up there and wired in now. The wires kind of just tuck in nice into that cowling, wire through into the inside. We have our on-off switch mounted, which actually now is powered up through the headlight circuit to activate the relay. Not much power draw, it's just a relay activation. So we can't get any driving light power unless the high beams are on, which is the way I prefer it. There's lots of different ways to do it, but that's how I like it. And when I shut my high beams off, my extra driving lights go off. we'll fire them up and you can see how they work. I'll just pull off the covers. They come with these nice little covers. There you go. Obviously, they're not that bright in the daytime, but they should be good. We'll see how they work and do a test with them once it's dark. We'll have to go for a little drive and try them out. We still have the option to use the regular high beams without the driving lights by just turning that little switch on and off. So we can see it goes off, on. And we have them aimed pretty much level coming out. The brackets actually tip them a bit and turn them to the side. I'm not sure why the tip, but whatever. They're kind of like ditch lights, so you want them to aim into the ditch a little bit so you can see the animals, give you a little bit wider point of view. The headlights on this thing are still old school, and I'm probably going to upgrade those soon. We'll see what's available while we're on the road. One of them is actually dimmer than the other. One says halogen, one doesn't. So I think we have one halogen bulb, one non-halogen bulb. So we'll rectify that soon. So with the tire rotation complete, I'm still working on getting the toe set. I don't know if you can see, but looking down the back wheel, that one's pretty straight. Maybe towed out a little wee bit. And if you look at this one, it's towed out quite a bit from the looks of it. Sometimes looks are deceiving though, but I did measure it and we're about 3/16 of an inch towed out. Just using a measuring tape. We been trying to grab this tie rod and turn it with whatever tools we had, which was only channel locks and vice grips and stuff, and we couldn't get enough on it. We're at Marianne's brother's house now, and he's moved recently, and like I was for years, lots of things in bins and not organized yet. And but he did find this pipe wrench at the end of the day yesterday, so I think I'm having some success now with this piece of pipe added on. Oop, she's bending. Almost half a turn out of it now. Well, that's about half a turn. We'll give it a little run back and forth and a measure and see what we get. .46 and 3/16. So we're going to try and get about halfway up the front of the tire and halfway up the back of the tire. 46 and 46 and a quarter. Really close. On the 16th, I'm going to give it a little wee bit more and we'll go with it. There we go. We pretty much got 46 and an eighth front and back. So pretty close to zero toe, which is usually where a 4x4 goes. You could maybe tow in a 16th or something, but that's way better than it was. That should remedy a lot of our tire wear, and we got the rotation done, so maybe the ones that were on the front will level out a little bit, and we'll be good for the rest of the trip. I just got to tighten up my clamps on the tie rod that I adjusted, and we are set. So I've glued this tab back on in the Jeep. where there should be two, but I only found one. I used a 5-minute epoxy, speed set epoxy, and I hope it'll be enough to hold the actuator on. I've used this LePage speed set epoxy. And yeah, I'll grab the actuator here. Yeah, so the actuator slides in and clips on there. I kind of think, since it's all, oh, it's broken in there too. Look at that. You know, I think I'm going to put a lot of glue on there, because really the box is broken and this is broken. I'm going to glue it, so I'll glue it all together, and hopefully this never fails. And if it does, well, the box is broken anyway, so we'll maybe break it some more getting this thing off. But it should get us going for now, so I'll mix up some more glue and jam that thing in place. I have some epoxy mixed up here, and I give a good coating around all the cracks, and I actually reinforce the other side too that is going to clip on. I think I'm going to let this harden, and then I'm actually going to put glue in there and glue this thing right in place on the tab that is left. So I have to hold it in place right now for a little while till this glue sets. When I was doing the tab on the heater box, I had to hold it in place, and I kind of glued my fingers to it, which wasn't the easiest thing to keep the piece in place and get my finger away from the being glued to it, but I managed to get it off and it stayed in place. I was kind of hoping it would. I didn't really know till I went back and looked this morning, but it stayed in place. And yeah, so I'm going to let this set. We don't need to use the Jeep right now, and then I will glue it on later when this is completely set, and I think that'll give me a better chance for success. So the actuator is back in place now, after a couple of months of only having air coming out of the dash vents. We now can switch. That actuator will actually turn it from dash vents to, oh sorry, dash vents over, from dash vents there. You can see the dust coming out. To floor and dash, floor only, defrost and floor, and then full defrost. So we have full control, the way it should be.